just when I thought the PFL had something good going for him, Francis Ngannou decides to throw a wrench in those plans. And was Dana correct all along? We're going to find out right now, or at least hint towards whether or not Dana was correct, because Francis Ngannou may not be who he appears to be. Of course, this is the guy who left the UFC allegedly because of the principles he holds dear and near to his heart. Near and dear, dear and near. Either way you throw the wrench in here, it's Francis Ngannou, who seems to be a problem. One organization after the next. Each gym after the next. You go from gym to gym, you go from promotion to promotion, and we've got problems along the way. There's only one underlying factor here. That's Francis Ngannou. This guy has overcome all the odds. One of the smartest guys, I think, in the game. Yes, this guy may not appear to be super well educated. He may not have the backstory that sounds like a well-educated man, but this guy is extremely smart, extremely sharp. He may not speak English as his first language, but you can see the thoughts running through his head in every interview that he provides. And I got to give the man props for that because, listen, Francis comes from a tough upbringing. The whole story that he relayed on the Joe Rogan show a couple years ago is fantastic and tremendous. How the heck do you overcome all those odds? Only Francis Ngannou and a man of his stature could do so. So I'll give him his props up front. But right now, we're going to jump into this. We're going to get very serious on the entire topic because Jon Jones, Francis Ngannou, is what Francis Ngannou, the current PFL #1 heavyweight champion, I don't even know what to call him. We'll talk about that as well. But the PFL's biggest fighter, Francis Ngannou, their biggest star, Francis Ngannou, is talking about going back to the UFC and fighting Jon Jones once again. Here he is, speaking about the entire thing. I think this was an interview on TMZ. Got to give them props where it's due. Francis, of course, has the humble figure on the outside, but I can see the wheels turning on the inside. I tried to put out a nice front, but, sometimes I'm a little bit more pessimistic than I like to be, but we'll move right along. Here's Francis speaking about Jon Jones, the White House, and what might be next for him.
As a fan, does Jon Jones, Alex Pereira interest you to see that fight?
Yeah, if they are fighting, I definitely gonna turn on my clock to watch that fight. But it's not like, wow, okay, this is the fight,
Which is a bigger fight to make in the White House? Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira or Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou?
You know the answer. You don't need me for that. Should I answer? Do you really need me to answer?
It seems like that could be a big one, though. If they're looking to put together the biggest card of all time, maybe PFL UFC could figure it out. That would be the fight to make.
If you want to say biggest of all time, you make it biggest. Biggest fight of all time can only happen with Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou. That's all what I can say about that.
And in the White House, it would definitely be the biggest.
Yeah.
The talk of the town has been Jon Jones, Alex Pereira. Of course, Tom Aspinall and that whole eye poke situation has washed Tom Aspinall to the wayside. He is nothing anymore, according to Jon Jones. Of course, we'll talk about that in another video. Jon Jones absolutely slandering the name of Tom Aspinall, one of the greatest heavyweights to ever do it. Tom Aspinall already at this age. Francis Ngannou's up there. Jon Jones is up there. What are we doing here? I mean, of course this is a huge fight. Of course I want to see it. But this dude is completely screwing over the PFL. Is he a man of his word? Is he a man of the contracts? Is he trying to do right by the promotion, by the fighters, by the African promotion that he started? Shout out to Fight Oracle. I think he sums it up pretty damn well here. He's literally under contract with the PFL. They paid him 8 figures to fight one time in 3 years. Started an African League for him, which has been amazing. Great fights across the board. They've done 3 events now. He only showed up to the last one. Why are you not there? That should be your first priority. You're the one in charge of this African League. What are you doing? Why are you not there? You would bring so much news and notoriety to it, and you weren't there. The UFC campaigned against him relentlessly, but he also campaigned against the UFC. Said a lot of bad stuff about him. Dana White says he doesn't like the guy, thinks he's manipulative. I think this might be the case. You'd really have to try to convince me otherwise. I mean, Jon Jones, obviously, he's been campaigning for that White House fight against Alex Pereira, but let's put this energy into Francis Ngannou's fight, because at this point, again, are we just going to screw over the PFL here? I mean, I'm okay with it, but let's get down to who Francis really is, and let's stop beating around the bush. This guy isn't who he says he is, okay?
Can't wait to see you compete at the White House. Can't wait to see it.
I know. I really hope it happens. Dana, bro, please, bro. Please, I'm training. I feel great. I'm healthy. And I'd be so honored to represent our country and do what I do best.
Can't wait to see you compete.
It would be absolutely hilarious if Jon Jones is begging on his hands and knees, please give me a fight against a pure striker like Alex Pereira, who I'm going to have a weight advantage over. And it turns out to be Francis Ngannou across the octagon from him. Oh my goodness, that would be absolutely horrendous. I mean, again, getting back into the Francis PFL situation, signed a deal with the PFL, got his freedom to box, went and boxed, won a fight, arguably, lost a fight by knockout. That is what it is. Made 8 figures. Was the face of the company, yet barely has a thing to do with any of it. Won't be involved in any of it. He showed up to one event. He was on camera for like 2 seconds and that's it. He once fought in the PFL one single time. Once. And is more interested in talking about fights within the UFC. Was Dana right about Francis all along? I'll let you guys decide. That's what you guys are supposed to figure out. I'm just laying out all the information for you. In my opinion, I think that we can come to some middle ground here. Francis is not as nice as he would like you to believe he is. I mean, look at the PFL anyway. Regardless of all this, who the heck is this man going to fight? The winner of Vadim Nemkov versus Renan Ferreira? Vadim Nemkov's a light heavyweight. Moving up to heavyweight. Bruno Capoloza? No. Renan Ferreira was the only interesting one. Super explosive, tall guy. He whooped his ass in a minute and a half. Denis Goltsov? No. D'Elia's not even in the PFL anymore. I mean, we can keep going down the road. Jamel the Beast Jones? He's not even in the PFL either. Oleg Popov? No. Abreu? No. We're going to have to scroll all the way down here to find some interesting opponent. And I can tell you right now, none of them exist in the PFL. The UFC is the only place for Francis Ngannou. If they can mend the fences, let's get this thing going. But I don't know. I think he rubbed Dana White and the brass the wrong way. I think he is currently rubbing the PFL and the brass at the PFL, all the head honchos at the PFL. I think he's rubbing them a very, very wrong way. I mean, there's a double meaning there. He's not rubbing them in any kind of good way, okay? That's just the Francis Ngannou way. You know, you take advantage of what you can and you move on out. And you know what? Maybe that's just the life he has had to live up to this point. I mean, he's got a family. He's all settled down. He's got all the money in the world. Why don't you just retire off into the sunset and stop saying all this stuff, trying to get back in the UFC's good graces? Because you know that you would make the biggest name out of yourself if you were to beat Jon Jones in the White House. He knows how big that is. He wants on it. But stop playing this whole nice guy thing, Francis, okay? That's just my advice to you. Go full heel. I mean, you're absolutely a terrifying fighter, great fighter. Why play the nice guy? Don't do it. We all see right through this bullshit. At least I do anyway. But again, you guys let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Do you want to see this fight? Do you think Francis is still a nice guy? What's the deal with this guy at the end of the day? That's what I'm trying to figure out from you guys in the comments down below. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. Do that whole thing. Let's keep this thing going. Let's keep these videos pumping, and I'll see you next time.